more about elemental families, periodic table, notes, page 57. So we have two pulled out rows at the bottom of our periodic table, and these are known as the inner transition metals. Now, they are also often referred to as the rare earth metals, and that's because some of these inner transition metals are actually not found in nature. And the only way that we have data or know something about these particular elements is because they have been made by man in the laboratory. So they are man-made in the lab. Now, these rare earth or inner transition metals, many of them are radioactive, which is probably pretty scary to most of us. Now, moving through some of the other families, group 13 is sometimes referred to as the boron family because boron is the first element, and this family runs from B down to thallium TL. Now, what they have in common in this particular family is that they each have 3 valence electrons. Starting with group 13, we start to see some differences in the classifications. So in group 13, the boron family, each partner or each member has 3 valence electrons, but boron is the only semi-metal, and all of the other members are classified as metals. Each member of this family exists in the solid phase. Okay, group 14. So group 14 we'll just refer to as the carbon family because carbon is the top and probably most important member. So this grouping starts with C at the top, and for us will end with PB at the bottom. Each member of this family has 4 valence electrons. Here we start to see variations in the classification. So here we go. The carbon family contains the nonmetal carbon. Then there are semi-metals in this family, and at the bottom of the group we have metals. Each member in this family exists in the solid phase. Moving on to group 15, okay, we're just going to refer to it as the nitrogen family since nitrogen is at the top. And for us, the group starts with nitrogen and extends down to bismuth, Bi. Each family member in this group has 5 valence electrons. And like group 14, we see variation in the classifications. So we have nonmetals like nitrogen and phosphorus. There are semi-metals within group 15, and at the bottom we have metals. Now in this group, we start to see some variation in the phases. So in group 15, we have an element that exists as a gas, and the rest are in the solid phase. And one really neat thing about this particular group is that the members like nitrogen are able to form triple bonds between identical atoms. So triple bonds means 3 bonds. Moving on to our last group on this page, group 16, it starts with oxygen, so we will keep it simple and just refer to this as the oxygen family, okay, because it starts off with oxygen, and for us, it ends with PO, polonium. Each member in this family has 6 valence electrons. Once again, we see variation in element classification. We start off at the top with nonmetals. In the middle, we see a semi-metal or metalloid. And at the bottom, our classification ends with a metal. Now, like group 15, we also start to see variation in phases. So up at the top, we have an element in the gaseous phase, and the rest are in the solid phase. In group 16, these elements are able to form double bonds between identical atoms. So double bond, that means two bonds between the same two atoms.